might go towards Zoom, guys. I'm not sure yet. A lot of other people are using Zoom, and it's so much better. I think I found it. Okay. All right. This should work now. Okay. So, can someone please talk?
Testing, testing, testing,
I can see you on the desktop audio.
testing,
So hold on.
testing, testing.
Let me get
Yeah, I
back.
just heard my voice.
Oh, so weird. So weird.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just heard my voice.
All right. This should work now. And sorry that if there was a question, I couldn't hear you because I was looking at the audio source. What was the question? So Rose, you are not with the party yet. What I'm going to do is I'll introduce you as we see you. So
Chris, I just want to.
yes. So Discord will have the audio, but what you just have to mute the YouTube stream. Oh, you can't. Oh, wait, hold on. What? It's not. Oh my God. Yeah, Discord is so strange. Hold on. There we go. Let me get it live. This was so much smoother last week 3 times. So I think it's because I started this kind of hastily because I was getting up and running late. So I'll know for next time. But that should work now. You guys can hear everything within Discord?
I can hear the game in Discord, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Awesome.
So Chris, the guy says that he can't hear you if you put the earbuds.
So surprisingly, Scarlett, I can't hear you. It's like really muffled.
Is it better now? I mean, like closer.
Yes.
No,
Yeah. To me, it's better, but. Great. Hold on. That would be because Discord has reset the mic. And okay. Yeah, it did. Wow. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. We're all good now. Thank you. Okay, so I'm so sorry, Amber. What was your question?
Oh no, I was just letting you know that Visorian couldn't hear you.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool, awesome. And I can hear you really really good now. By the way, so all right, so we're gonna outside of all the technical difficulties we went through, and sorry guys, it's just gonna be a learning process for me. I mean, if I can only show you what I have to do to get this up, it's disgustingly awful. But anyway, so and just out of curiosity, before we start again too, I'm gonna pull the sword up. Does it actually look any better to you guys, like as far as like resolution?
I don't see much of a change compared to last week.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it still looks good.
It definitely looks good. I can't remember specifically if it's better, but
it should look more. The resolution should just be higher, so it's easier to pick things up. It doesn't matter. Anyway, cool, awesome. So, all right. So anyway, so this is the other thing. Let me set this up for you as well. Tyler, thank you for doing our
recap.
Yes, the recap. Sorry, so many things going on. Okay. We'll go ahead and start from who was the last person that was rummaging through the crystals that was going to look at the glow bug? Was that you, Peter? Do you remember?
No, that was me, and I captured the glow bug in the lantern.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's do that now. So you took the glow bug and put it in the lantern, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, the other neat thing is because I'm using the actual engine, anything that you guys grab, I also have inventory of. So the back end. All right. So John, when you did that, just to be clear, when you pick up this glowing bug, it feels like the outside of it feels like it's porcelain, and it feels incredibly delicate, as if like if you were too strong or if you were hasty, you could even crush this thing. That said, the glowing inside of it, when you put it in the jar, it seems to grow almost brighter, as if maybe the glow bug reacts to the darkness or something. And it's kind of like light out now, so it grows a little bit brighter. Remember also when you're in the middle of these crystals, they give off some kind of like warmth. You notice all around you, by the way, guys, the one things that are kind of standing out is there are two glowing like flowers that are in your general vicinity. Also, anyone that's from the collegiate would recognize the fact that they're now, of course, much more flooded, but this is the low level area that courts the entire Mist of Valorium. Normally, people are not necessarily down here in the other outsides because the whole thing used to be structured where, like, essentially there were these giant stone bridges off into the distance within the Mist of Valorium itself that would connect the college and the collegiate. The only time you would go down here is like if you wanted to explore, take a walk. There wasn't a ton of people down here, though. Of course, now this is kind of the only way to get in. If you remember as well, as you got off into the distance, this is where you came from. There's also this acidic, sulfury smelling area to this side, and then there's more potential areas to explore in front of you and off to the left here.
We are gonna check out some more strange looking flowers, or do we want to see about continuing to get away from here?
These look like the same ones we were looking at back there, though. Yeah, sure.
As you kind of look closer, you notice that they do glow incredibly bright, almost as bright as like firelight. They do smell like calmly and like pleasantly citrusy, similar to the ones that you guys had seen previously. So.
Pick a couple if you want.
How would you like to take them?
Lillian.
Yes.
I believe that's right. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say either or. Go for it.
Can I aid him?
Yeah, you can hit him. Yeah. So no. Go ahead and go through this. The only thing is, as long as you're doing exactly the same where you're cutting it at the stem, you don't need to do anything special. You can cut it at the stem. Okay. So you take one of these.
Yeah, Six will show Lillian how he harvested these flowers before.
Yeah, so when you cut it, it still glows. One of the things you notice is there is like a sap nectar. You notice this a little too, Six, but this one, for whatever reason, is more viscous. And there's like a sap and a nectar that slowly drips out as you like cut it, but it's still glowing.
My hand 6 a vial.
Yeah, I will safely store the flower away in a vial.
Okay, sounds good. So the stem will. It won't. The whole flower won't.
Yeah, just the stem oil.
Yep. Did you guys want to take the other one, or do you want to go and explore?
I mean, while we're here,
All right, you take the other one as well. And from this vantage point, by the way, this is what you guys see off in the distance here. And then slowly, when you start to look around, this is your vantage. So that's more where you came from, in the back here. There is this strange blue fog. It looks similar to what happened the day that the gloaming hit. And it is pretty pervasive, like it's all around you. Other than that, though, this is the glowing tree is off there, but not the giant glowing tree. This is just one of the glowing trees you found in the distance. The large ethereal glowing tree is off into this side here. And then, of course, there's more area forward. So your real options are: do you guys want to keep going down this path here, or would you like to go back over here and look around? So right or left?
I vote whatever way is not in the direction of the most of this sulfurous water stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to stay out of the water, so.
You guys start to feel a very pleasant, cool breeze going through here. This is the area down here now. This does get a little bit swampy, but you could probably find a safe way around it as you start to walk over in this direction. It's not so much of a drop. If you guys decided to take a rope or something and go down, you could certainly probably manage it, you would think to yourself. Or you can maybe try to find ground down here over on this side. It does look like there's actually solid ground here, and it looks like it goes down farther.
Right.
Do you want to?
Chris, quick
Yep.
question.
Yes.
I guess what would be a proper way to introduce my character into like just the group to be kind of present?
Yeah, absolutely. They'll find you in very, very soon. You're going to be, yeah. And so what'll end up happening is they will find you, and then you will just do it interactively through that.
Sure.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like we've done enough climbing for one day. Maybe we just do a little bit of walking and see if that is useful.
So you guys start to walk down into this area here. You notice that there is some strange glowing white skull. So off into the distance, there's another glowing skull as well. Off in the distance, Rose, you can introduce your character. So Rose's character is, unfortunately, I can't get any kind of character model in here that would define you. But Rose, your character is sitting over in this direction here. You're by the crystals, like investigating, doing other things. You guys notice her on this side. Rose, do you want to go ahead and give us a quick rundown of what your character looks like again?
Sure. My character, Amra, is very humanish. Very, very, very stock standard human. Kind of black hair, mid-level height. Not somewhat nobly dressed in terms of how she looks. Very, kind of reminiscent of the guard back at the Mist of Valorium, if any of you are familiar with that concept. Yeah.
Yep.
And definitely not looks. She definitely does not look like she belongs in swamps and other places, so to speak.
You guys, so anyone at the collegiate would also notice the fact that she is wearing official looking clothing on top of that. You would know she's from the college. And as you guys see her, night begins to just automatically fall on the area as well, further proving that there's something going on with time or at least the day and night cycle. But you see her come up. So she is standing right here, looking through crystals. The whole group is on the other side. Rose, you can see them at this point. There's many of them. you'll be able to notice them.
Right. So at that point, I'm probably gonna be very surprised that so many people managed to make their way to wherever this is, because I figure that this isn't like lots of people don't really come
Let me
around these parts,
let,
especially not
let,
en masse.
exactly. Let me explain what happened to you moments previously. So, for a little over a week and a half, you have been literally fighting for your life, in the sense that you're trying to get back to the collegiate proper, but the reality is that there are so many unnatural, surreal events that have happened in the week and a half that you've experienced the gloaming. For instance, monsters have come out of nowhere. On top of this, Mellowite has literally started sprouting out of the ground. It is now
Right.
pervasive everywhere. Mellowite is this substance that's incredibly precious, and holds great power. But now it's literally everywhere over where the Mist Flora mixes. So on top of that, though, yeah, you've had a really rough time. Whatever you can explain to them, you can go through and own that portion of it, and it can be whatever you think is good for your character. But the reality was, yes, you've spent a week and a half basically fighting for your life, and you've only gotten here for whatever your studies have like limited you for, and I'll let you go through that. But
Sure. So yeah, in addition to all of I said before, I look incredibly haggard, like I haven't slept in a week and a half. I guess, yeah, my clothes are torn and ragged, and as I see the group approach, I'm just like, finally, other people, just like, how did any of you get here? You walked just over here, just how, just simple.
We also climbed down a thing. It was very exhausting.
Uh,
Safety in numbers.
they
Uh,
point over to the left side. Yeah.
Are you alright? Are you hurt?
um, all right. I would not describe myself as all right. Hurt is more like I'm not really physically hurt in as much as just exhausted, tired beyond all manner. The things here are awful. Have you encountered any of it? It's the world's really gone to hell, hasn't it?
Yeah. Are you hungry?
Yeah, there's Mellowite everywhere.
That's
Yeah, I'm not even paying attention. I'm looking for a pocket crystallis. We're sort of walking through here.
Yeah, no, but it's like I kind of see
and-
that.
And as nice as the Mellowite is, where you guys are standing, this is kind of a hellish place, unfortunately. So you're carefully walking around. The Mellowite is incredibly sharp and just incredibly kind of like inconvenient. That's the one thing that you were already being careful. This is all difficult terrain, by the way, guys. If you do end up having to like run through it, there's a whole mechanic for it. It's actually kind of a dangerous place. Everyone's kind of stepping really carefully not to step on crystals. They are sharper than razors under here. So
Are you hungry?
Yeah. If you'd be so gracious as to offer me something to eat, I would gladly accept it.
I'll pull out a ration. Let's get out of here, though. This is hurting
Sure.
my feet already. So.
Yeah. Just I know this. Yeah.
So Rose, you kind of lead them out. One of the things that you so Amra, one of the things that your character would know, and this is actually what you were studying. You can decide if you want to relay this or not, but there is a very strange, almost like crystalline like being off into the distance. You were very quietly watching it before this happened. It's over there. You've never seen anything like this thing. It has not noticed any of you, and it seems to be meditating some kind. But there's also these strange, very weird glowing skulls. But for now, you guys get into a safe spot over here, where there's.
I was able to find a pocket stone.
you're still working. You're still looking at it. The problem with these stones is that as you get into this area proper, they're also submerged in water, and whenever you like pick them out to go through them, they're cutting your hands a little bit going through it. You're probably gonna have to find a crystal proper in it. Just give me an investigation check and let's see what you find. This is a good vantage point because you can actually see that being over there as well.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's cutting your hands and stuff, but if you want to keep going, you can.
Yeah, I'll keep going.
Sure, if you want, you can hold on to the piece I found for the time being.
No, it's okay. I'll find one.
Okay. Don't hurt yourself.
Scarlet is going to help him look, but she's going to use Mage Hand to try to find a good piece.
Okay, yeah, give me an investigation check for him as well. And how would you like to do this, by the way? Because the other thing is, there is that being over on the other side. 21, yeah. So, if you want to, this is what you can do. You carefully make your way over. So, unfortunately, you couldn't actually loosen any of these embedded into the shallow water here. However, you can take one of these crystals out through here, and there's a fist-sized one that you're able to grab that you can give it to him.
I do that. I give him the fist-sized one that I find over there.
Okay.
Ooh. I'll joyfully clean it off on the edge of his tabard and put it in his pocket and smile.
She smiles back, but a little shyly.
And he'll just look over to Six and look at the crystal thing in the distance and just sort of like tap his crossbow and sort of shrug.
6 is gonna send to Hector telepathically, like, you should say thank you, by the way.
Oh, he's right. Thank you. The stone is great. This is going to be fantastic.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy to help.
So, Amra, if you ever want to get a closer look at something as well, the other people know this, but you're able to do perception checks, and you can actually zoom in and like get other things if you want to. Same thing with like investigation checks. You just have to physically be in the area.
Now that Hector's pointed it out, can I take a look at the crystal being over there?
Yep. Give me a perception check.
That's a nat 1 for a total of a 5. Yeah.
All right. So this is what happened. So it's right now everything is incredibly hazy, and there's a bunch of reflections that are going off of these crystals. You can't really make it out. This is as good as you're getting right now.
The rain's getting in my eyes.
The rain is getting in your eyes. Yep.
I think maybe we should hang a left and stay away from it.
I like this idea. It just
Okay.
looks like it's floating over there. I don't want to go near that thing.
If it floats.
All right.
Yeah.
So, because this is in difficult terrain, what do you guys? So you could try to hug the wall here, and even climb up that portion. It's going to be very tough because of the way the crystals are, and if you fall, you're going to cut yourself up for sure. There's also these glowing skulls to be wary of, or if you want, you can just try to like carefully walk through the very obvious path here. It's up to you.
I think we should go straight and not climb up the crystals, but just like hug the side of the crystals and go up to that little bank right there.
This is what you see. So.
Yeah, perfect.
So this is the first time in a while that everyone has been able to see the Mist of Lorien proper, besides of course you, Amra. You notice immediately though that the bridges that once connected it are completely down. They must be destroyed. You also, this is the best vantage point you've gotten of that ethereal glowing tree as well. So you have a couple options. So you can, if you want, scale down this area here, or find a way to make ground level and walk up, or if you want, you can actually scale from this direction too. It's just a little harder, but it's up to you guys.
How much of a height difference is there between the two sides?
So looking down, this is only going to be 20 feet. The other side, it's very possible you could just walk down, but you're going to have to investigate.
Sure, I'll investigate it without climbing down. Yeah.
I'll aid.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation check as you guys are doing this.
All right. Hector, do you want me to roll at advantage,
Um,
or do you want me to do one? You do one.
who's got the better one?
I got a flat roll.
Yeah, you should help me then.
Okay, I'll aid you.
$19.
All right, so this is what you find, Hector. So first and foremost, you find that really the only way down into the greater plain area is through one of these bluffs where you're just going to climb down. If you go back into this direction, you realize that it's almost like it's cut off again. It's just more cliff, unless you want to brave going all the way around to the side here, which you may or may not want to do. The one thing that you notice though is, of course, if you want to go around the entire way, you're going to be more in line of sight of that crystal-like being. I will let someone, if somebody wants to try to look at it again, I'll let you do a perception check again, since you're basically here and it hasn't done anything yet. Would someone like to look at it a bit closer from where you are?
Cliff does. He got a 12.
Okay.
May I also?
Yeah, you can as well. Yes. 18?
Scarlet got an 18.
Okay.
I got a 26.
Perfect. Okay. So Scarlet, you notice that it is absolutely levitating. And then 6, you're able to see that this is indeed some kind of crystalline being that looks like it has an ornate spear-like staff. You're not exactly sure if it's sentient or not, but it certainly looks like it could be. It's actually wearing cloth, which is a little strange. And it does look like it's in some kind of meditative trance. It doesn't necessarily have. It almost looks like it's using like a shroud or something. At first, from far back there, it looks like that could have been like maybe fashioned into woman's hair. But it doesn't necessarily look like that when you look at it close up. It looks like it's more like a shroud or something that it's helmet, and the features are a bit masculine. That said, yeah, it looks a bit. Or if it's going to attack you, but it certainly looks strange.
Chris, you cut out for me like halfway through that sentence.
Oh, really?
The Discord stream is really chugging too.
Yeah, I don't know why actually. Can you guys hear me okay now?
So far.
Well, what I was saying was that it does have this ornately like fashioned spear that looks like it's been like carved, but on top of that, from all the way back there, the headdress that it's wearing almost is fashioned like it was carved to be like woman's hair, but it's not. As you start to get closer and look at it, this is some kind of headdress, and it does have masculine features. Did I cut out again?
Nope, I got the whole
Great.
thing that time.
Yeah, you were cutting out too. It's strange. Anyway, okay, for me, so it must have been bandwidth on my side or something. But anyway, so yeah, so it does look. I mean, it's hard to say. It does look like it has a weapon though.
How far away are they in feet?
This is at least 60, 65 feet from where you are.
I think we should climb down one of these bluffs over here.
That's right. So if you go through that area right there, you're going to. It's kind of enclosed, but one of the bluffs does lead open into the greater, like tundra down there, which theoretically would lead you to the Mystiflorium. This is a pretty easy drop. It is 20 feet, though.
Hector, you were pretty good with the rope and the hook last time.
Oh yeah, sure, I could set that up again, not a problem. Hey Six, you help me with the Python?
He will.
All right,
If
great.
it hasn't been an hour yet, the spell would still be on you. The enhanceability.
That's right. Yeah, it has not been an hour, so you still have it.
What is that? Does it mean it just roll strength at advantage?
Yes, and your carrying capacity doubles, but
It's a 16 strength.
And while they're doing that,
Yeah.
Amra,
And go ahead.
I will sort of walk over to her, and I will, if she's like muddied in any places, or if her clothes are like tattered, I will just sort of prestidigitation them clean.
All right, everybody give me athletics or acrobatics to climb down. I will let you choose.
I mean, 6 would just walk down with his spider climb.
Yeah, you can totally do that. Yep.
I'll prefer athletics. Give me a second.
Yep. Who got the one?
That was Clip.
Could I have been aiding people?
Yeah, the only thing is you'd have to do it one at a time. You wouldn't necessarily know who fell, but that said, let's see if anyone else fails. So,
I got a 5 total.
okay, so, so here's how to work. You do have to make a choice on your reaction. You're gonna try to grab one of them, and you're gonna have to use strength to do this. They actually fall. They both actually slip. The rope is still a little wet. And so Clip would fall first, but then Wish would fall shortly after. You have to make a choice if you're going to help either.
Oh, he'll help
What
Clip.
do you want? Okay. All right. Okay, Clip. Go ahead and give me a strength check, and let's see if he can stable you and grab you and get you back on the rope. Wish, unfortunately,
I'm sorry, am I
you're gonna
making a strength
fall.
check, or is Clip?
No. You are. It's a 6. You are. You're grabbing him. You're
I'm
gonna try to
very
grab him.
small. This should be very easy. I believe in you.
Yep.
That's a 12.
Yeah, 12 is enough to stable you, Clip. So 12 is definitely enough to stable you, and you get him back on the rope as you go through. Wish, unfortunately, you fall. Go ahead and take God, what is the standard? D8? Is that right?
It's a d6 for every 10 feet.
Right. Yeah. So go ahead and take a single D6.
Alright, I take 2 damage.
Yeah, you got halfway down, you slam into the ground. And you're all wet now too. This is what you guys see. So this is a pretty serene area. That same calming breeze is going through, and of course you have that blue haze.
So yeah, no more climbing today. I think we can all agree. Too much climbing for one day.
Yeah, the fields ahead look as though they'll mostly be flat, so you probably shouldn't have to worry much about climbing, I kind of remark.
When Scarlet sees Wish hit the ground, she kind of like squeaks and scrambles over to him and tries to help him up.
I'm alright. It's okay. I'm fine. I'll like sit up. No, it wasn't that bad. I'm fine.
How many hit points did you lose with the falling damage?
2.
In that case, I'll just use lay on hands to cause you to recover all 2 that you lost, to sort of make a magical symbol in the air and kind of mark you with this. Yeah, assuming you just let me do this, it probably looks a little dramatic, but if you've ever been to the Mysticorium, then I'm sure other people have done this as well.
So did you work? Did you work at the school?
I didn't work there. I was studying too. Study's a kind of work, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Now, Wish, you've seen other people get healed, especially when it comes to like traumatic injuries. This is the very first time that you've ever had magical healing on you as well. As a matter of fact, for many of you, this would be the first time that you've seen it. The reason why is because even though magical healing is accessible at the collegiate, there are not a lot of people that are proficient in it, and there are not a lot of especially like clerics or paladins, other things that are this powerful. So everyone knows as well, just like in my other games in the campaign, level 5 is actually pretty high still. The same kind of thing for this area. So you guys would be definitely way above average when it came. Even students are going through it. But this is the first time that you've ever had magical healing on you, for sure. So.
Yeah, just sort of trace magical marks into the air before touching you, so we're just like, yes. This sort of arcane might is extremely helpful for making sure that I, and I guess by extension all of you, won't die out here in this swamp, hell-turned, beautiful land. It's pretty for how awful it is, I suppose.
Well, if that's the case, you got your work cut out for you.
Yeah.
Did I introduce myself? I'm Wish.
Right. I'm Amra. Pleasure to meet you. I'm enchanted.
Thank you.
Like you have magic on you?
No, just a phrase, to be enchanted. It's a standard form of greeting. I
I
guess
have
I
that
do
effect
have
now.
magic on me as well, however.
Well,
No,
the
what-
feeling is mutual.
As you're discussing this, one of the things that all of you would notice as well, this kind of flower you have also never ever seen before. Its blue is so brilliant it doesn't look natural. That said, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily magical or anything special. Even the glowing flowers, you're just not sure of. But this is not something that anyone has ever seen that's native to this area. These blue flowers, very strange. And then off into the distance, you can still see that there is something moving, almost organic, over on this side here. You're not exactly sure what that is, but you do see that there's some kind of crab or something off into the distance as well.
I'm still an inquisitive person, so I think I'll probably take a few of these flowers while kind of noticing the
Sure.
horrible creature off in the distance, kind of mutter something beneath my breath to the effect of just like, some more monsters. I was hoping to avoid these things, but yeah.
They have this strange, like, floral smell that smells like heated up cotton candy or almost like sugary. That's also very strange. Like you've never smelled a flower that smells exactly like this either. This entire area though, like so much has changed within this area in the short amount of time of the gloaming that nothing is starting to surprise you at this point, but as you get a better look, that does look like it could be a monster or some kind of thing off in the distance there.
Look at that. Look at the little crabs.
Yeah, go ahead and make perception checks if you guys want to really look at them and stay here. Or investigate and then we'll walk up to them. 13?
How big does it
14?
look from here?
It looks, the big one looks unfortunately very big. It looks bigger than a truck. As you start to focus, I'll show you, but who got the 21?
Wish did.
All right,
Scarlet
Wish.
got a
So-
21 too.
Oh, it's both of you. Okay. So this is what you guys see first. First and foremost, you are able to get a much better look at the crabs. The crabs are still pretty big. You don't. I mean, you've definitely seen crabs in this area before. You might have even hunted them or whatever. Like, but I mean, the crabs seem strangely bigger than they used to, and they look kind of like aggressive, and they also look like they have some kind of weird like mud or some kind of chitinous thing like all over them. This one appears to be eating, but off into the distance, this is what you see. This does not look natural. Matter of fact, your breath kind of catches both of you as you get a better look. This crab is massive. It could snap potentially like a person in half. It's a very, very large crab.
Yeah.
They totally are. The smaller crabs are absolutely big, and they look a little nasty on top of that, for sure. Yes. There is
They
some
will-
also strange glowing, like it reminds you of the glowing kind of like thing that you guys saw previously, with maybe a corpse sitting in a chair. You're not exactly sure, but that's what you'll be able to find off in the distance with that check. So, and again, it's you're staring at it right over here. So. They are. You can take. So I already have down that Amra took like 3 or 4. You could take them if you want as well, but they are new. Okay.
And what would you say the distance between the smaller crab and the bigger crab are?
It's around 30 feet between the bigger and the smaller crab. There's other smaller crabs as well. You're just not exactly sure how many from where you're at. So we could investigate that, or we could go off the. You have a couple options. So there's still the right over here, which you could literally walk around this rock here and go investigate more. Or if you go this direction, even though it's hard to see from where you're at, anyone that's familiar with this area would generally know that this is the direction here as we walk further of the Mist of Valorium itself. So Mist of Valorium is the left, and then of course there's more going away from the Mist of Valorium on this side, potentially around these rocks or whatever if you guys are afraid of the crabs. But so this is a massive area. There's a lot to investigate.
Will you want to tangle with those crabs? 'Cause it might be better if we just let them be. Although I did
Are you
see a
guys
man.
hungry? And I'll just sort of like slowly start raising my crossbow and steadying in my arm.
I'll be honest, those things look kind of nasty.
Yeah, those things look like they can snap a tree in half. Imagine what they can do to one of us.
Exactly.
Lillian
I
makes
have-
a great point.
Now
I have
off
a
into the
spell that
Go
can
ahead.
give you fire damage, so it would almost be like cooking them while you kill them.
You're
That's
all
efficient.
very, very brave.
Now, one of the things that you notice as you're discussing this as well, off into the distance, every now and then, you may or may not be able to see this, by the way, on the stream. It's very finite detail. And there does seem to look. It's almost like there's a person walking. It's far off into the distance in the mist. It does look humanoid, and it's in this general vicinity here. But again, you would know, anyone that's from this part of the Ecclesia would know this is a massive, massive area with a ton of ground to cover. So anything you guys do would be fine. There's lots and lots of places to discover and look at, though. This is literally 5 square miles in real time. So this whole area is 5 square miles. So just the bound side here. So in real life, like miles, this is a 5 square mile radius area. So
Well, either I'm thinking we try to get some crab meat, or we see what that thing that looks like a person. Maybe it's another friend.
I figure we won't be able to get to it without fighting the crab, in which case, I guess I draw my halberd at this place.
Yep.
At this point.
it's on the other side. It's a little confusing, but yeah,
Oh.
they are in the opposite direction. Yep.
But just to be safe.
It's up to you guys. Whatever you want.
That person's also very intriguing to me. Also, I'm gonna not eat those crabs if we kill them because they look gross.
Okay.
I
What do you guys?
Crab is so good.
hold up.
I don't eat gross mutant
Yep.
crabs.
think about it this way, these crabs could be imbued with some sort of magical energy. They're obviously supernatural and not like normal, so it either has very, 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 very bad effects or very, very, very good effects. Potentially both.
I will let you eat them first. How about that? I don't want to.
What would you guys like to do? You have the crabs, or we have the people walking in the distance? Or do you want to investigate the people and come back to the crabs? It's whatever you like.
I say we investigate the people first before moving on to the crab.
Does everybody want to do?
That works for me. We're 1 for 2 in meeting people who are good friends, and the other guy was not as nice.
All right, so you guys carefully walk over into the area where you see the people walking. And sure enough, as you get closer, this is what you see. Now, one of the things that's a little frightening is there is a giant skull. That skull is too big to be humanoid. It is massive. You have no idea what that is and how it went through. And as you start to look, you notice these are not actually people. These are homunculi. So, Amra, you would know this. Wish, you would know this. You would also know this clip. You've never actually seen them, like, first of all, you've never seen them in this kind of number ever. You've never seen them holding, like, staves or whatever it is they're holding and, like, walking aimlessly, because the homunculi are literally created beings made out of this liquid metallic, like, essence. They're also insanely expensive. All of you have only ever seen one homunculi, and the reason why you've seen it is because as you get closer after your first year, there's actually one within the collegiate where students can go through and look at, because it's considered basically a work of art, a work of magical art, to create one of these things. It literally takes 7 years to create one. The process is incredibly secretive, and it's rumored that it takes, like, it can actually kill the wizard or sorceress or witch or whatever that it goes through to try to create this process, which is why there's just not that many of them. They are so this is more than you've ever seen. Now, they are created beings. They can speak. They do have intelligence of their own. Generally, they're slaves in the sense that they do have, like, an objective to go through. You're not sure why they would be out walking, and you have no idea, like, what's going on since then. So you have a couple different options. You could just try to talk to one. You could try to do a little more investigation. You could completely ignore them. There are ruins. Now that you've got and gotten this to, might be the college town, the actual town that was underneath the Mist of Valorium. These could be the ruins of that. You're not exactly sure, though, because everything's kind of twisted and changed. But you would certainly have been in this area before, if that's the case, Hector.
Yeah, I'll start gauging the buildings and see if I recognize where I would be.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to go over to them? If you go over to them, though, it's just there's a bunch of these things everywhere. Do you want to try to talk to one first, or what would you like to do?
I generally follow the rest of the group, but I wouldn't make a move until I tell the rest of the group that, hey, like, I kind of know where I am.
Yeah, so you guys stay off here, so you can't be seen so far. But when you do make a decision, just let me know. Yeah.
Kind of in shock at the moment, in as much as, like, I've only ever really seen one of these before, so to see so many is just kind of, like, confusing. It's like I guess seeing, like, a car lot just filled with, like, Lamborghinis in essence. So I am kind of confused, sort of looking that direction, baffled.
Yeah. So, Clip, the other thing that you remember specifically, there is a way to command or take over homunculi. You know this for sure. You have no idea how to do it, but you when one of your friends or someone through the Mist of Valorium, when you were doing your studies, they found a book that was basically mentioning the fact that they can be taken over in some capacity. You just have no idea how, though.
I would relate that little bit of knowledge, like kind of. I imagine I'd be mumbling, kind of similar to what Ro was saying. Be like first off, like what is today? We've seen mellowite everywhere, and now like this is also a ton of value in all these homunculi. And then I'd probably get into what you were saying, the description of like it might be like they're expensive, and that it might be possible to like for someone to take them over, but I have no idea how.
I think it would be good if we let our intentions be known and maybe show them that we mean them no harm.
Would you guys like to talk to the closest one to you?
How far away is the closest one?
30 feet.
If you'd
30.
like
It's
to-
actually 42 feet actually, but it's moving. So
I can do the talking if you'd like. I volunteer.
okay. All right. What do you want to say, Wish?
Without getting too close, I would just kind of like to, all my weapons away. I only have like a loot under one arm. I will just try and get the attention and basically say like, well, I would start with like, what's happened? I hope you're all okay. We're just passing through. I hope that's all right.
All right. So you kind of gotcha. So you want to run up to it essentially. So this is what happens. So you kind of make your way. You start going through it. They don't seem to be like basically recognizing you until you get to here, and it starts to speak to you, and it says, "Very busy, very busy, very busy, very busy, very busy."
Okay, I'll leave you to that. I just want to let you know that we're gonna be around. Me and my friends. We mean you no harm. Good luck.
And as so you can keep pace with it as he's walking though with you. And by the way, now that you're this close up, yes, it does have metallic, like very slimy looking metallic skin. It looks exactly as you see it, almost with a sad expression on his face. But he does say it's a male voice. He says, what is your destination?"
Out of the swamps here, headed more towards the college. So
Yes, I know you're a student. And then he looks around. As he looks at all of you, who is not a student at the Mist of Lorium? I believe all of you are, correct?
I was not.
Except for me.
Oh, that's right, 6. Yep. He does say
Yeah, 6 and
6
Hector.
and Hector. But Hector, you had ties to the college, right? Like you were.
Yeah, I did.
Were you also because you were a fighter working there, like as a kind of like security? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So he would recognize you as well. So 6 is going to be the only issue. So he does talk. So are you guys going to walk with him, or are you going to let him go through? By the way, because he keeps speaking, but he says, "So who is?" And he points to 6. Designation.
I respond telepathically that my name is 6.
He said, "And what business do you have at the Mist of Valorium?"
I'm just following them. I'm with them.
As that happens, as you're talking, the other one behind him, it's as if he can either hear you, which doesn't make a lot of sense to you, 6. That would be the first time. But he responds, and he says, "Shh, stop talking, stop talking." But it's very clear that he's not talking to you, 6. He's talking to the homunculi in front of him. Now, none of you have ever talked to the homunculi before, so you don't know if this is normal or not. But that said, it does seem like they have below average intelligence. Now, as you walked into this designation, like as you walked into this space, you also noticed that there is another kind of like ruin, but the ruin has some kind of strange organic red material all over it.
Do I recognize the building?
No, it's too damaged. As a matter of fact, it's really hard to tell where you're at right now as you've been like kind of walking with them. But that said, you're pretty sure the town that actually did connect the Mist of Lorium, which is literally a college town that's built underneath it, is still off into that general direction. You could still find it if you wanted to. But as you've been kind of like following them, you've kind of lost your way just a little bit.
All right, I will head away from them and more towards the ruins of the town.
The ruins in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm for getting out of the water for a bit. It's
Okay.
wet.
I don't.
Yeah. So there is dry land.
The town, not yeah.
Okay, so not this area here. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you go ahead and try to get your bearings again, and this is what you'll see off in the distance. So there is some kind of strange looking like tower, and then of course there's ruins over in this direction as well. And then as you start to get closer to like things like the Mellowite. By the way, as you pass, there is a giant glowing flower over here as well. Just let me know if you guys want me to stop anywhere. But there is certainly ruins off in this general direction, and this is where kind of you were looking at again, Hector, over here. Is that where you'd like to continue to head to? Forward? Now it does start to rain again, by the way, and often you notice that the cycle has started again too. Almost as like maybe a day has passed or something. You're not exactly sure. But if you'd like me to continue going forward, you there are This is probably the ruins of the Gate College town. Forward. Is that what you guys want?
Yeah, forward is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Closer we
Okay.
get to the Mystivalorium, better. Or faster, rather.
Okay.
Hey, 6. 6?
Yeah, he'll, you know,
Yeah, as you guys walk.
he'll,
Yeah.
he'll, you know, telepathically he'll say yes,
Why do they call you 6?
because I was the 6th.
6. What? Like ever?
The person I worked for, I was one of 6.
Oh, okay.
All right, John, give me an investigation check. The first ruin you find here, whatever
Thank
this
you.
thing is.
15.
All right, so you're a little confused. You don't remember a building with these specific carvings on it, and this building must have been massive. It's almost as if this stone structure just fell out of the sky too. The way that it's actually damaged, and the fact that it's embedded so far into the ground. But you are able to get up to the top here, and sure enough, as soon as you do, there's another one of these strange, glowing yellow-like things. And now that you're here, you have a better vantage point as well. So that is certainly, that's not the Mystivalorium proper, but that is an area on the upper part of the gate town. So you were correct, John. This is part of that area. You can actually make out one of the original bridges that's now damaged off into the distance there.
Yeah, he'll
There's gonna-
excitedly point it out.
Yeah, there's going to be more down there for sure. So, but that said, there's this strange thing as well that you guys also saw earlier.
We're making good progress.
Who has the what's our highest passive perception, by the way, and who is that again? I'm sorry.
I'm 16.
I'm 19.
Okay, Hector. I think that's the highest. So, Hector, you also notice there's something strange off in the distance here. You have never seen one of these before, and it is, oops. It's something over there. You can point this out now. You'll have to do an
Yeah.
active perception check.
Yeah, I'd point it out to the rest of the group.
Okay.
Sure, I'll take a look.
It's beautiful even from where you're looking at it. So give me a perception check, Hector.
$11.
All right, you can still get up to here. I'll let you describe it. You can describe what you see there. So go ahead and describe whatever that is to the group.
Hey guys, it kind of looks like a green glowing tree. Looks kind of weird.
So another strange. So we had a yellow one, red ones, and now a green one.
There's more blue flowers on this direction as well. The air, by the way, smells almost purified in this area. It smells incredibly clean. There is no swampy smell anymore. You were getting whiffs of that, almost like methane going through things, as if like there'd been like decayed things underneath, but not here. And there is a very, very nice gentle breeze going through things. So your options, do you want to go in, do you want to go up and take a look at it, John, or take the group, or do you want to do something else?
He pointed out the 6, and Victor would probably keep his distance at it.
Do I see anything else with the 17 perception?
You do not. You see that there's mellow white off in the distance. Nothing like this that caught his eye. The only other thing that you would notice is there's a structure. There is some kind of strange, almost shrine-like structure. Hector, once he points this out to you, you don't know what this thing is. You don't remember it. But again, things have changed so much that it's possible that it's been there and you just never saw it or don't recognize it.
Six will go investigate the little glowing tree.
All right, 6. This is what you see. It's pretty beautiful. There's so basically the bottom half of the leaves or the twigs glow into a really radiant like yellow, but on the tops there's these little bulbs that are almost like these green little like almost crystalline like leaves that glow green.
And obviously I've never seen anything like this before.
Never. No, as a matter of fact, none of the flora and fauna ever grew before this. There was no glowing trees or flowers or anything like that. You start to notice too that there are now a bunch of maybe fireflies everywhere. These you would have seen before every now and then, but this is pretty. You've never seen this many, and that their glow is pretty brilliant, at least today.
Okay. I'm not gonna harvest this whole tree, but if I can get if I can snip off like a branch.
Sure. Do you want to take the green part or the yellow part, or try to get a little bit of both?
I'd love to try and get both.
Great. Dexterity check for me. Or so if you have tools, like if you're proficient in your tools, you said you had an herbalist kit.
I am proficient and own both a herbalist kit and a alchemist supplies.
Okay, so an herbalist kit would absolutely have modified pruners that are incredibly sharp. You can use those. That would probably be the best tool for this. So
Great.
just give me a dexterity check. You can use your proficiency.
18 plus my proficiency, that's 22.
Yeah, great. So, as you cut into this, it's like cutting into glass. Had you not done it as carefully as you had, it would have absolutely shattered. But you are able to get one of the little branches off of this with the green thing intact. So you are able to take it. This is incredibly delicate. You're going to have to figure out a way to store this in a way that is not going to like hit up against things or whatever. You can think about that as we're talking, but otherwise you're going to destroy it. It's gonna get shattered. So
Okay.
this is very, very fragile. So you'll have to think about that. So as you guys start to walk around, you can hear the subtle like. There's definitely like frogs and other things that are going through the swamp area. Maybe insects. You're not exactly sure what those noises are, but you can hear them in the background. There's more ruins on this side, and then Wish saw that there's some kind of like shrine structure. Wish you can start pointing this out over on this direction here. You guys will see it in any second now. It's straight ahead.
Do we want to go this way, or do we want to go more towards the Mist of Valorium?
I mean, that shrine-looking thing isn't too far and seems interesting.
Yeah, sure. It's alien to me. I've never seen it.
Right. Okay. So you start to walk carefully over in this direction as well. It does get old for everyone shrugging through the swamp. Just remember that the water is cold. It is up to almost your knees going through all this, but you guys start walking, going through here. Every now and then you see those skulls as well, and you stop here, dead in your tracks. So, off into the distance, there is some kind of creature that is sleeping. You have to do a perception check if you want to look at it closer, but you have not startled it yet. And then as you start to look around, you notice that there's many of them. There's more than one.
22.
Alright. This is what they look like. These are giant crustaceans. They do look like they're maybe sleeping. You're not entirely sure. But this is rather frightening. And as you're close enough now, you do start to subtly smell them as well. It's very possible they are sleeping. That or they're dead, but you don't think so, because as you start to watch closer, they're slightly moving as if they're breathing. They must be sleeping.
Do we want to mess with this? This looks like a bad idea.
There is a rock lobster native. There is definitely a rock lobster native to this. It looks like it's similar to that, but of course they don't grow to be this large. So, yeah, it looks pretty dangerous. Are you guys going to walk away from that for now?
Can we make out any more details of the shrine itself?
Yes, absolutely. Give me one more perception check for the shrine, and absolutely. All right, who got the 24?
Hector did.
Hector?
I got a
All right,
25.
Oh, okay, Hector and 6 is what you guys see. Now relay this to the party.
Well, relaying to the party is kind of on Hector.
So he just sort of like looks over and he's like, "Hey guys, it looks like there's a really cool like white statue. Looks like it's like rock, and looks like a lady, like wearing a robe and a hood and stuff. Looks kind of pretty. Hey, does that look like it's chipped to you, or is it just like a tooling thing? Oh, sorry. It's on a pedestal. It looks kind of dirty. There's a lot of leaves and stuff. Somebody should probably clean that. I don't know. Is there like some kind of like lady god or goddess? Yeah, goddess. Goddess is the word. That looks kind of cool.
How do you want to describe her? You guys can, I mean, you can take his current description and try to do a history check at disadvantage. Or if you want, I'll let you, let's do this. I'll let you describe, go ahead and give me history checks for anyone who would like to. Hector, describe her one more time. You would actually see her from this angle anyway, so it's kind of tough. All Hector can really see is this angle here, so.
Yeah, and since 6 can see it, he could still tell me telepathically what he sees as well.
Exactly. So 6, you have a little bit of a better angle, so that's how you can tell it's a woman. All right, 17. Who got the 17? Yeah, it's a disadvantage.
Ah, shit. Okay.
The only way to get it to non-disadvantage is you'd have to find a vantage point like over here. The problem with doing that is that you're gonna potentially wake up those crustacean things. It's really because he can only see it from behind. I just wanted to give you guys a view of it for this. All right,
Flip-
so
Flip ended up with a 17 on disadvantage.
okay, 17 disadvantage. So Clip, the only thing that you remember vaguely is that there are uh there there are there was like rumored to be hidden shrines underground that actually had a carving of like chosens of Mistra. This was a long time ago. And the only reason why this comes to mind is because of the kind of like the structure of these things. But they were underground. You're sure of this. You've never ever seen anything like this above ground. You know that for sure.
Would I
And
have would I have
go ahead.
perhaps encountered one growing up in the Underdark?
No, so they were not part of the Underdark. This is this separate place underground.
Okay.
They were basically in these tombs that the collegiate controls. That's the rumor at least. They weren't actually part of the Underdark though. So it's weird. You're not sure why these would be above ground or how they would be above ground, but that's certainly what you think it could be. And what these are is these are chosen of Mr. If this is what this is, these are actually some of the chosen of Mistra that are carved into it. You don't know why, and you don't really know their purpose, though.
So
I would
But they're
relate
these.
that to the party.
so that statue is nice, but I see a lot of giant shrimp that I don't want to mess with. So I'm gonna stay here. I have a giant shellfish allergy, especially when it comes to dealing with a bunch of statues that we don't know if they're any good or if they do anything. So it's bad for my health to be, you know, fighting like giant 20-foot large shrimps. I
Don't you
Oh.
have one of those like magical knives that you just like stab in your leg and it like helps you with like your allergies and stuff?
I'm worried about getting stabbed in the leg. Uh, so I'm gonna go this way. Come on, Scarlet.
Okay. Wish starts walking in that direction there.
Scarlet kind of gives a quick glance to the rest of the group and then follows after Wish.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's also kind of stunning is that you have never ever seen the night sky so brilliant as far as the stars are concerned. They're always relatively bright, but it's like there are all of a sudden thousands of more stars in the sky. To the point that it's almost so bright that it's lit up. This is different. Now, Hector, you're sure now. This is one of those bridges. This led to the main college town, but it was also this area here. There used to be a much larger bridge that actually did lead you right up to the Mistaforian proper. It's been destroyed.
Yeah, he'd relay that information.
Yep. Do you want to go into the college town?
I think that's a good idea.
Wait, quick question. Do we have any idea of how it was destroyed?
So out of everyone, Amra, you are actually the only one that knows. I was about to get into that in a second. That's a secret information, but you can relate this. So, Amra, you were actually in the vicinity of the college, and you have all of your memories intact. And when it was destroyed,
Right.
so what ends up happening is that, and you don't. It was pretty traumatic, so you don't know everything. But what did happen was there was a giant blue explosion around the college at the same time that the gloaming took place. What also ended up happening is immediately after things settled down with the giant glowing tree, almost an hour later, there was a massive earthquake. That earthquake destroyed much of the area that you're looking at right now. However, giant, massive stone structures also fell from the sky. And then because that's really when all hell broke loose, where like monsters started coming out of nowhere, it's presumably when we started seeing giant shrimp lobster things and giant crabs and all kinds of other things that you've also encountered. For instance, you've actually seen like whites and other like ghostly things come up. You've also seen undead in this area, but so it was a pretty traumatic event. You're the only one that remembers that. Everyone else, you guys kind of just woke up where you were, and you don't remember any of this. So, but Amr, that's secret information that you have. So
Right.
you can relay it. I'm just saying that's you only have it. Now, off in the distance, you can also see that there is some kind of also glowing tree of some kind, smaller one, which works.
Probably wouldn't think to relay it right at the start. I just sort of just like, yeah, I guess this is a result, unless
Yep.
specifically asked.
Now, Hector, as you get closer here, you notice, yep, this is definitely the bridge, and yeah, whatever destroyed this, it must have been pretty massive. Like some kind of cataclysmic event would have had to occur to destroy this thing. This used to actually be so, and then as you climb up here to get a better vantage point, now you kind of see the whole devastation. They're probably this was probably very bad for the people living here. You notice that some of the buildings have submerged underneath, which you're not sure how that's possible or what happened for that. On top of this, there's more homunculi walking around, but then you start to think about, wait a second, why don't we see and hear people? And you start thinking about the potential of what happened to these people. None of it probably very good.
Yeah,
Um,
he'd first off start trying to clock where he would be in reference to where the orphanage would be.
Yeah, so give me an investigation check. It's going to take you a little bit, but give me an investigation check and you just can start walking around. It started to come nightfall. Now, Amra, one of the things that you notice right away, this was one of the advantages of living in this town. So this this window here is made out of an entire glass that's made of the same metal that the homunculi are made out of. It's incredibly expensive. The reason why some of these structures have it is because first and foremost, you can't see into it, but it also allows the inside to be perfect temperate 68 degrees no matter what the outside is. This is incredibly expensive. It's called Vellenstill, and it's actually a mixture of a bunch of things. And it is the same like raw material that the homunculi are made out of. 1 ounce of this is worth more than an ounce in gold. That's why. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
That was
Yep.
one of the advantages of living close to the Mist of Valorium, is there were these miraculous things that they could essentially like outfit you with, or you would have access to that just normal people wouldn't. This is one of those things. It's also indestructible. There's no way to break into this through this. So this was a stone structure that you could never ever. Don't worry, guys. That's something that I did. That's just a stone structure that the glass is not accessible. So if you were trying to break into this building, that's harder than steel. So anyway, so as you're looking, walking around, Hector, you know for sure that it wasn't a glowing tree in the middle of this town. And then as you start to get your bearings to go through where the where you think the orphanage might have been, it's getting really strange because there used to be roads here. This also didn't used to be submerged in water. You think that this building here used to be one of the main dormitories for the students who couldn't afford to stay in the Mist of Valorium. And if that's true, you can't even imagine that anyone could have survived like this, whatever this is. It's possible that everyone's dead here. And then as you start to look off into the distance, you do actually notice that they're actually actually I'm wrong. Hold on. As you start to look off and look at things, to your horror, you do notice that there is a building that you think might have been the orphanage here. I'm just checking my notes just to make sure. As you walk over to it, Hector, you kind of run towards it. Yeah, it is this building. Not only is it completely submerged, but it's also damaged. You think the building might have collapsed on itself. Hopefully none of the orphans were in there, because if they were, chances are they are all dead. Any building like this would have been terrible. Like any building that's set up like this would have been absolute like horrendous going through. Like a
Yeah.
building like this, maybe maybe you could survive. The problem is there's literally no way to get into these buildings. Even if you guys wanted to, you could never ever crack the windows. And then as you start to look off in this area as well, there's this thing.
Are those more the fruits?
It does, yeah. So when you get closer to it, it does look like it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks
we
like it's the fruits.
tons of those already.
I am gonna idly speculate to everyone here that I guess there's a potential that the extreme magic exposure as of what's happening combined with presumably other premises and factors could result in the creation of homunculi on the spot, which is what we could be seeing here. The whole village simply transformed into them, which again, this is my guess.
Yeah, and there is. I mean, it's very strange. Like these homunculi are just wandering around.
Yeah.
You see them over here in this area as well. You're not exactly sure what the hell's going on with this. Also, one of the things that you notice is this water is just a tad more viscous than it should be. As a matter of fact, this is a great angle to look at it. You guys can all see this now. Something strange is going on even with it's a little thicker than it should be. There's crabs also going through this area. These are whiter crabs than the crabs that you saw. They don't necessarily look aggressive though. But that said, they are around this area. So Hector, you're starting to look through as well. I mean, there's so many buildings. Hopefully, people weren't inside of them, because if they were, they didn't make it.
Yeah, he'll just be sort of standing in front of the wreckage of the orphanage for a minute.
Yeah, we'll go back to it. It's this building right here. Now there is that structure off in the distance. There's two of them. There's what looks like a fully intact structure, and then there's this very large tower off in the distance, but you can't really make out how close it is. By the way, there's something going on with the moon as well. All of you notice this. The moon is much larger, closer than you've ever seen it. And of course, there's this.
Did we want to investigate that smaller golden tree compared to, I point to the massive golden tree?
And you point to the golden tree over here. Everyone can see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to.
I mean,
Okay.
we're slowly turning into a biology group.
Yeah, no, investigating this whole village seems like a worthwhile endeavor to kind of get a right and proper understanding of everything that's been going on here.
Yeah, as he follows the group, he'll just silently just take away a fragment of a brick off of the building and put it in his bag
Okay.
and just walk.
What would you guys like to do now? As you're in this direction as well, you can actually see that you're not exactly sure what that is, but there's a shadow that's going over you. It could be the moon just moving incredibly fast. Not exactly sure. But what would you like to do with the tree?
Six does not feel like this tree is like a. It doesn't. Can he go over and investigate it? I guess first of all.
Do it. Go for it.
Well,
Go investigate it. Yep.
18.
All right. Tell me what you'd like to do to investigate it. Now you have to touch it, obviously, but give me an idea of what you like to do.
He wouldn't actually want to touch it. Can he just get like a real close look at it? Because
then it's perception. Then it's perception. Yeah, you can, but it's perception then. Yep.
You want me to touch it? That's how I can aid you.
Come on, guys, it's just a tree. I'll grab it.
I'll
All
grab
right. So, so that's fine. So who wants to grab it? Do you want to grab it first, Hector, or do you
Yeah,
want to grab
Hector's
it?
gonna
with
straight
the
grab
knife?
it. He's like, it's just a tree, guys. Come on.
All right.
Um,
Awesome. Cool. Make a wisdom saving throw for me, Hector.
7.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay. Um, give me 1 second. I just need
Time
to
to get
double check
charmed by the
something.
tree.
All right. So, so Hector, you also glow a brilliant, like golden yellow. Nothing else happens for now, though. Hector, remind me again, who is your chosen god or
Uh,
goddess?
he doesn't have one.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Yep. So you start to glow, but nothing happens.
Hey guys, check it out. I'm glowing.
Ooh, I touched the tree next.
All right. And who do you worship, by the way?
If
Wish?
No one. I'm just a bard.
if I can
Okay,
see
but
Wish,
you don't have like a god or anything that you've chosen, right? You have no one. You're not worshiping anyone currently.
No one outside of the backstory that I sent you. But
Right, 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 right.
I'm not like
Right.
I'm not
Cool.
like a worshiper of any gods.
Right, right. Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
if I can see
Same.
Wish reaching out to touch the tree, can I hit their hand with
Yeah,
my quarterstaff?
of course you can. Yep.
Just like a good
It's
whack.
up to it's up to you, Wish, what you want to do about that. But yes.
I'll try and. Well, if I see. If I see six like genuinely being like, don't touch it, I will recoil my hand. I won't.
Now, so far Hector's glowing, um, uh, and Hector, what you do, uh, so what you do feel is that inside of you, you actually feel at ease and happier than you felt in a while, at least since this had started. And it's starting to like rise within you, but it's not something that you would really communicate yet. It just may become relevant later. So, but just keep that in mind.
Gotcha.
6, do you not want me touching this tree?
Just like an emphatic shaking his head no.
I mean, you could just tell me that instead of, going to hurt me.
Telepathically, he'll just say it seemed faster to do that.
Well, I mean, I
All right.
understand.
Now, Amra, Clip, Lillian, Scarlet. You don't have to yet, Wish. Give me wisdom saving throws.
Is this a magical effect? Because as a gnome, I'd
It
have
is.
advantage on it.
It is a magical effect. Yeah, it is. $11. Okay. So Lillian goes to Lillian. You actually just walk up and touch the tree. Who else? And you start to glow as well. You have an overwhelming feeling like you need to touch the tree, as if you're something.
Overwhelming.
Who
feeling.
else? Who got under? Who got under 15? I saw Lillian.
Everyone.
I think we all
And
did.
Scarlet.
I was
No,
close.
that's fine. That's fine. So Wish, you see this. Everyone goes to touch this tree, and as you do, you all start to glow. Wish, what do you do? We'll resolve what you do, and then we'll get to the next part. What would you like to do, Wish?
I'm just gonna hold out my hand, not to touch the tree, but towards everyone else who's touching the tree at six, being like, well, are you gonna hit them?
Are they all still like touching the tree? Like they're still like
No. You just touch it to like get its like a feeling for it, and you glow, and then you don't have to touch it anymore.
he's just like pinching the bridge of his nose.
Yeah. And here's the thing: Six and Wish, you have not felt any kind of compulsion to do this at all. But everyone else clearly has. Yeah.
Right.
Scarlet, how do you feel?
I don't feel any different. I suddenly felt compelled to touch the tree.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to touch the tree, and then I really did, and then I did. How are you?
I didn't want to touch the tree, but now that I can't touch the tree, I want to touch it more. So, but since you all touched it, I guess I won't touch it, just in case something bad.
I mean, I don't see what the big problem is. I mean, it's just a little bit of glowy stuff.
I don't, I don't want to piss off Six too much. So,
Now, as you guys are speaking, all of you start to everyone that's touched the tree that's still glowing starts to form a very small but very very distinct tendril that connects all of you, in some kind of like fashion. So it's wispy, and it starts to connect all of you. As that happens, by the way, everyone does start to feel more like at ease. It's unnerving because it's a magical effect that's happening to you, but you do start to feel more at ease for whatever reason. And the sun comes out at this point.
Is the tendril that's connecting us something that's tangible that we can physically touch, or do our hands just
No,
pass through it?
it passes through it completely. By the way, all of you now are looking up at the tree itself as if you're compelled to look up at the tree. You cannot look away for now, for at least a minute. So all of you are looking at the tree. Wish and Six, you notice this. Do you want to touch the tree or do you want to stay away from it?
I am following Six.
Yep.
Six doesn't like this. He just.
Yeah.
This is weird. This is creeping.
You know what? You were right. I was wrong. You were right.
Wish, can I
And-
light the tree on fire?
What?
No.
And as you guys are speaking about this, you guys see the sun like rise up, little by little to where you're going through, and then immediately as this happens, there is a projection. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it in. We will have it later. A projection of a woman that comes at you immediately. She is 20 feet tall. She's actually wearing leaves and other things. She's incredibly um and as she shunts in this vision of her stretching up from the tree, she says, finally, children, have you, and then she stops and she looks over at all you, and she looks at you, Wish, and she looks at you, Six, and she says, are you here to cause Sylvanus harm? And she looks at you inquisitively.
Do I recognize the name Sylvanus?
So you do. There is another goddess that sounds like Sylvanus or very close to Sylvanus. Where is Sylvanus? That said, give me a history check and let's see.
I will do the same.
Can it be a religion check?
It can be. It can be a religion check. Yeah, it can be.
Wish, do you
Yeah, it
see
didn't help
this giant woman?
I see the giant lady.
She's glowing in ethereal, but she's certainly projected in front of you.
Character just waves at her.
She
12,
says,
by the way.
"Well, yeah." She says, "Well," and she points to the tree. It's very clear to you. So it's even though she's not communicating this, it's very clear to you that she wants you to touch the tree, both of you.
What? Excuse me, ma'am. What is your connection to the gloaming exactly? This tree appeared.
That I have no connection to the gloaming. I'm actually the reason I actually stopped it.
Okay.
She said, My name is Sylvanus. I'm the goddess of nature. I wouldn't expect you to necessarily have heard of me here, but trust me when I say that I am the goddess of nature everywhere else. Now, what'd you get in your religion check? You got 11, you said? Yeah, you did.
12.
So this is so it's obscure knowledge. So Sylvanus is not actually worshipped here openly. It is obscure knowledge. So that's why I was saying you can also make a history check on this, but religion will work too. But
Would
she said, "Well, I stopped it, child."
Thank you.
She said, "Oh, you're very welcome. Vecna had no right to do what he did. Disgusting." He said, I'm coming to you specifically because I can tell that you're special." And as she says this, now everyone has these. I did not get a chance, Rose, to really go over this with you very well at all, but you have one as well. Everyone's book at this point starts to become very, very apparent that it's on them. It becomes a tad heavy. It's not like it's like allowing you to level or anything, but it's very, very apparent that it's vibrating. And
Right.
so she says, and then she says, he said, honestly, I'm glad that there are people that could potentially help take care of this situation. She said, so how how much do you know of what's going on currently?
Could I do a quick insight check?
Of course you can. Yeah, you can always insight check her. Yeah, go for it.
15.
I mean, she certainly seems to be powerful. She certainly the fact that you are witnessing a projection from this giant glowing ethereal tree does tell you that it is very possible she is a god. On top of that, she seems to be very straightforward. She doesn't seem to have any kind of like deceptive nature that you could determine. So so she seems honest. But that said, she notices you trying to peer into her, and she says, "This is why I think you should touch the tree."
Yeah, 6 is not that bad. It's just a little glowy. I mean, look at me. I'm positively gleaming.
She said, "There's nothing." She's yeah. She said,
Right.
"Six. There's nothing nefarious going on." It's very clear to you now. I'll use your other insight check. It's clear to you she's picking up your name through others using it, not necessarily that she knows it. That said, she says, There's nothing nefarious here. I want to make sure that I can trust you as well. What I'm about to ask you to do something very, very important for not only myself, but for this entire realm. In which case, I would appreciate it if you did touch the tree. That way I can know you well. Unfortunately, I know that's not fair, as I'm sure that's the next thing that I will hear out of you, that it's not fair that I'll know you more than you'll know me, but that's just the way things are, unfortunately. And as you can, and as she says, look around. This is a very trying time.
Well, I'm very familiar with people knowing me more than I know them, so I touch the tree.
And you do feel a little better. So you touch this tree, Wish, and sure enough, you actually feel a lot calmer than you did seeing this 20-foot tall visage of Sylvanas. That is a little terrifying because her voice is loud and kind of echoey on top of this. What's strange though is that if you were looking off into seeing around the other thing too, if you ever saw it in the homunculi or whatever, no, this did not cause any kind of attention. Matter of fact, there is one of them right next to you. Doesn't look like they're even noticing. So, but anyway, so she says 6, please.
Yeah, he'll look around to the rest of the party and see that he's kind of the odd man out, and
Okay.
Hector, give him a
reluctantly,
big thumbs up.
reluctantly he will touch the tree.
So all of you start. So now that this tendril goes through all of you, one of the benefits from this is that everyone now is completely rested. If you had any kind of exhaustion, which you don't, but if you did, it would have been gone at this point. You also feel refreshed. This would actually count as like eating and drinking for you as well. If you were thirsty or if you were hungry before this, it's over. You're completely satiated. So she starts to solidify her image. It's not completely solid, but it's very close. And as she does that, she starts to glow less, and she starts to gain like color and everything else. I wish I could have the model to show you guys, but it's not finished yet. It breaks the game when I bring it in. But she says, "Thank you, thank you. I can openly trust you now." She says, "I can see that none of you are here to do any kind of will for Vecna, which is my main concern at this moment. and she says, so I don't want to get right into things and shock anyone, but Arixia is one world of many, many worlds, of which myself and other gods like me exist. Um, there are more than 10 of these realms. Arixia is a very, very special place for us, though, because this was a place that most of us could never, ever enter into. Something has happened, and I'm able to project myself in here now as well. However, unfortunately for all of you, so is Vecna. The reason why this is so important is that any god that solidifies its space here gains much, much, much more power in all its other worlds, with an end goal in sight of another world that's close to this world, that has not existed for a long, long time. It's been destroyed for thousands of years. That said, I don't want to confuse anyone, and that's not important at this moment. What is important is that I stopped the gloaming because Vecna was trying to kill every single being within, I believe this is the Glittering Isles, Arixia. I stopped it, and I am hoping that I can ascend into this space to drive him out completely. However, if Vecna ascends first, he will be able to drive me out. But it's more dire than that. Unfortunately, I have now laid claim in Arixia, meaning that if Vecna wins, and he is one of the worst gods to win in this case, he will not only kill every living being in the Glittering Isles, he will also try to kill any of us, any of the gods that have come to Arixia. She said, if you could imagine, your world used to be surrounded in shimmering, very abrasive, very dangerous crystals, for a better word. We were never allowed in. Well, the gloaming broke in massive pieces of those crystals, which then allowed us to come in. Unfortunately, what you see as the gloaming, though, was basically Vecna coming in first, surrounding this area and claiming it as his own. Unfortunately, go ahead. Yeah, you can ask questions.
Yeah, I'll just interject and just be like, that is a lot of responsibility to dump on all of us.
She said it certainly is. She said, and honestly, I'm actually shocked that there are mortals that I can actually rely on to kind of help with this. She said, I was not expecting this, but this is a very, very, very pleasant surprise. I have heard of others with Mordecanian's books. I did not expect them to be in Arixia. You were all lost. She said, but she said there are other gods here too. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly which ones got through with me. I do know that I am risking my entire existence, though, to not only help, but hopefully to also ascend. Here.
What do you need to do to ascend?
She doesn't answer. She just stares at you. She's not doing it menacingly, but you can tell she's not going to answer that question.
Could you... Sorry. What was the name... What was the name of that... Not this world... The other world? You said that didn't exist for a long time?
But I can tell you this. She said, first of all, it's in a tongue in Draconic that I actually cannot pronounce. Few people can. As a matter of fact, its name itself has been known to cause madness and others not from the world because everyone's essence is tied to that. But I can tell you that it's called, outside of its proper name, the First World.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for not calling it the name that causes madness.
Well, she said I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyway. For that, I'd have to be a dragon.
Those exist?
She said, well, she said that's another thing that I wanted to. There is at least one goddess that I know of that got through with me. I don't know how powerful she is yet, but I know for sure that Tiamat is here as well. And if Tiamat's here, there are certainly dragons.
Would I recognize that name?
Uh, none of you would. You could ask, but none of you would recognize Tiamat. You can
I
do a religion check. You can try to. You can try. It's super obscure knowledge. Amr, I believe you do know Tiamat though for some reason, if I'm not mistaken. But
uh
go
I
ahead and give me a religion check anyway, or a history check.
14.
I'd get a 17 on a religion check.
Yeah, none of you are high enough, unfortunately. If it's not part of your backstory, then I'm wrong. So.
Sort of. It was just Tiamat would be more like something I'd hear about in like rumors, sort of like just people that would have spoken about, just not something I myself would be very aware of.
Right, right. Do you want to ask her, Wish, when you hear the name Tiamat?
Nah.
Okay.
Would Clip know anything with a 24 history check?
With the 24 history check, you would know a little more than Amra that Tiamat is some kind of very powerful, scary dragon goddess. That's all you would know.
Thank you.
Anyway, she says so. Um. Also, I've been trying to locate Mistra, Mistrala, Mistal. I don't actually know what you call her. But I can't. She's gone, I guess. Have you Mistal? But the thing is, Mistal hasn't been at the Mist of Valorium in 2,000 years or so. She certainly has. She certainly did exist there. I mean, all of you would know, especially anyone that made it past the first year. Mistra herself, or Mistal in this case, absolutely founded this college. She has walked in Arixia. It's been so long, and it's almost like she's a legend at this point. But for sure, I mean, you're all taught this, so. And it's fact. The Mist of Valerium does not actually like go into speculation or anything like that. They don't teach you speculation. They're very, very, very hardcore on just teaching you factual things when it comes to magic, because otherwise it's dangerous. So. She asks you though. She says, "When was the last time all of you saw Mistra?" You've never seen her. No, she doesn't know. It's very clear that Sylvanas has no idea. I see. Something that you cut out. Sorry. You said no one really knows where she went, right, Lillian? Okay. Um, she says, "Well, there is something that you could do for me. Unfortunately," she said, "I myself cannot actually get into the Mist of Florium. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure any of you can either." And she points to the main building. She said, "It's been locked with some kind of magical ward, and I'm not powerful enough yet to break it." She said, "That said, I've heard that there are keys that can somehow get you inside." She said, If true, I absolutely believe that the answers to how Vecna was able to shatter the precipice, to get into this area and destroy some of these indestructible crystals for about that answer exists within the Mist of Lorium. She said finding out how he did it would be incredibly, incredibly useful, not only to myself but to other gods as well. It would also maybe come up with a way for us to potentially defeat Vecna. I'm quite sure of it. She said I have my own theories, but I believe students of the Mist of Lorium delved into dark magics that had something to do with the Mellowite here, and some kind of experimentation, of some kind of ritual, some kind of accident led to opening up Arixia. Yes, that is what I believe. Now, as she says this and as she goes through this, you guys notice that there's now been like a really, really, really thick fog that's come over the entire area, and the tree has right now completely and utterly vanished. And as that happens, so has Sylvanas. You cannot see her, and you cannot see this incredibly large glowing tree anywhere. The mist is so thick now, it's hard to look out. You also, as this happens, you also hear off into the distance a kind of like aggressive laughter that echoes out and fades into the distance.
This doesn't seem like it took a good turn.
I guess she's not the only god watching over us.
Wish just looks shell shocked.
So, Amram, one of the things that you do know from being in the college when all like hell broke loose, everyone was shunted out. So what they did is they locked it. You've only heard rumors of that this could actually happen. Everyone that was inside the college at the time got literally teleported out to their detriment, which means it killed some people because it would literally teleport them 60 feet in the air and just drop them or whatever. But everyone was teleported out in a very aggressive way. Once the doors are locked, there's this giant, and you've been to one of these doors. There's this giant blue, aggressive-looking ward that looks very dangerous to the touch. It is completely locked. The only way to keys that can lock it. You have no idea what one of those would be right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll say it again.
Right.
So
The only way.
the only way to get into the Mist of Lorium at this point is through one of these crystal keys. You don't actually have the proper name for this thing. They're very, very rare, but you know the keys are made out of some kind of crystal, and that is literally the only way to get inside. You would either have to find someone who knows where one of these keys are, or maybe has a key to get in yourself. Brute forcing your way in would probably kill you. Matter of fact, these things are so powerful that if you were to like try to shove your way in or like just like rush it or whatever, it could literally kill you. It could disintegrate you. It could basically make all of your cells explode from the inside. They're like devastatingly awful magic things.
Yeah. So no way to bypass the ward properly. That's without a key, of course.
Yeah. It's even possible some of the teachers died when they locked everyone out. That's the other thing that's weird. Someone must have locked them out. So this is the thing that you know. Someone must have decided they were going to lock everyone but the people that were scried specifically to stay inside. Somebody did that on purpose. So there's definitely a bad actor within the Mist of Lorium somewhere.
Could be a lot of bad actors. Could be a whole cult going on in there.
That's right. That is correct. Yeah.
Well, it sounds to me like we need to find a key that we don't know where it is, get back into the college, and save the world.
Yeah.
That might as well be how today ends. After everything we've seen.
Well, maybe we should go back and look for that guy that told us to go away, because he seemed to be able to get in and out of the college if he was talking to someone.
That seems like a fair place to start.
The tree is back. The tree does come back, but Sylvanas is nowhere to be found. Very strange.
Yeah, Hector just sort of mindlessly pull his book out and thumb through it as he felt his bag vibrate.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he was a jerk. He was not nice. And also, if he was indeed getting into the college, he's probably more of one of the bad guys. Also, we'd have to climb up like 2 ledges to go find him. And I don't want to do any more climbing today.
If he's our only lead, it's probably worth investigating. If he's not willing to help us, and he's, as you say, a bad guy, then compelling him seems like a more likely option than simply asking him.
Why don't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he was gonna kill us.
I don't know about all of you, but 5 or 6 on 1 does not seem good odds for him.
I don't know. He was in Quisilorium, so.
The other thing that you notice, so as you guys were walking through and looking at things, there is a campsite out here. However, it almost looks like it's some kind of military camp. This was not the way that it was. Now, there is an entrance into the college going through this area, but these look like soldiers. You would have to. You're so far away, you can't really make them out. You'd have to do perception checks to see what you find. But this is some kind of military structure, very out of place.
Yeah, I'll take a peek.
Okay,
I'll assist.
go for it.
You're assisting me? Or you're doing your own?
I'm assisting.
18.
Scarlet got an 18. I
Okay.
don't know.
That's the better one.
Okay, so all you see is, yes, they are soldiers. However, one of them, there's like some kind of like weapon or something in the middle that's like flaming, but you're not exactly sure. However, Scarlet, you notice that there is something off with the soldiers. Not only are they, I mean, they actually look like they're wearing the royal armor of the Winter Court, which is essentially the high palace of the Glittering Isles. But as you get a closer look with your 18, there is absolutely something wrong with the soldiers themselves. This is what you see underneath. They have decayed skin. It looks like they are potentially undead themselves. It makes a lot more sense when you start to think about things that maybe these are Vecna soldiers now. You're not sure.
So
They
I'm
have not
going,
noticed you yet, clearly, but
I'll relay that to the rest of the party, telling them that there are these things up there that look like they're undead and decaying.
yeah, at first, when you were looking through them, you got excited because it's just like it's basically, you thought that maybe like this is something like Kingsguard or something that came back to help with this area, and it's just been a military enclosure, and it's but as you start to really peer into them, you notice that no, they're dead. They're clearly living, but they look dead underneath their armor. So that would definitely be a good way in. But that said, I mean this could actually lead you potentially to the college proper. Hector, you would know this, but it's literally garrisoned with an army of the undead here in this area. So what would you guys like to do?
So if the key that we're looking for is made of crystal, do you think maybe it's that crystal guy that was just floating out in the swamp?
Amara,
Guy.
so Amara, you would know that these crystal keys, the thing you don't know the name for, they were created inside the actual Mist of Valorium. They're like priceless artifacts. So you just don't know if the crystal guy. It's strange. The crystal guy is definitely strange, and he's made out of crystal. But the people who made the keys were sorceresses and stuff, and wizards.
Right. So the only people likely to have any of the keys would be people with magical knowledge. I think our best bet is still
High faculty.
definitely
Yeah, high faculty would be the only people that really carried these things. Yeah.
would definitely be that first person described, i.e. the one that threatened us, because it seems like getting one will be difficult either way, so might as well go with the lead we have. Which I'll speculate this out loud.
Yeah. The screen's gonna go black for a second, guys. If you notice that, it's just something I'm doing. Don't worry. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. All right. All right, cool. Okay, that worked. Yay. All right, you'll see it come back any minute now. Okay. You guys can see the stream now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So off into the distance, you guys hear the whispered voice of Sylvanas, and she says, I won't be able to speak to you as often now that it's known that we have been communicating. But she said to look off into the distance. I've given you hope." And sure enough, off in the distance, you notice that there is some kind of like beacon of light. She said, "Head towards my beacon." She said, this should help in the beginning." So it is off in the distance there, in this area. You can see it. It's just like this blue, like magical, like thing that you can see off in the distance there.
I like going to the beacon more than talking to the angry guy.
That's fair.
I've stopped questioning these things, so let's go.
I know, right? Like, what is today?
It's just wild.
Hey,
Yeah,
so
Yep.
if this Sylvanas chick is like the good person on this whole thing, do you think that means that all of the glowing plants are hers and that they're okay to eat?
I think you're right. I think we should eat as many as
Should I
as
try
possible.
one?
Yes.
Well, we've got that whole like thing of the ball-sized fruits that Six picked.
Eat one of the balls.
Okay.
I just look at 6.
He'll just shrug. I mean, he was wrong about the tree, it seems, so maybe he doesn't understand as much of what's going on as he thought he did.
You wanna eat the
Yeah,
you
I'll
wanna eat
crack out. Yeah, he'll pull out the sack of glowing fruit that he's had on his back for the last 6 hours and pull one out and just take a very small bite of one.
Okay, cool. It tastes bitter, but also there's sugar content in it. It also has like a tart, like almost raspberry taste, but it has the same bitterness of like a really intense grapefruit. How much do you eat?
Maybe just one bite.
So a normal sized bite? Yeah, that's fine. Your tongue does seem to be numb a bit, for now, but that's it.
Is it good?
It's really kind of good, but it's a little sugary. But there's some. It's really sour, and it doesn't really feel all that bad. I don't feel really. It's okay.
That's okay. Do you want me to take the next? I'll take the next bite.
Yeah, go ahead, have some.
All right. Here, cheers to Savannah's.
Sure. How much do you want to eat?
I'll take another singular bite.
Okay. The same kind of thing happens to you.
You know what? I agree. It kind of does the thing.
Is your tongue feel weird? I mean, it's a little strange, but I'm not mad.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I see that.
So, other than your tongues being numb, do you feel any different? Like stronger, glowy, warm
Yeah.
inside?
Yeah.
You don't get the same feeling as like touching the tree or anything. It feels there's definitely some weirdness to this. You get the impression that you're gonna have to consume an entire fruit to probably either get whatever happens with this. But that's what you get out of tasting it.
I will pop the rest of it into my mouth.
Cool. Constitution saving throw.
Ooh.
And as Wish does that, do you want to also take one, Hector? Or are you gonna wait?
Now I'll
So-
wait and just sort of watch, sort of mad that he grabbed the whole one.
All right. So, as you take an entire one, in your mouth. It's sweeter than it is bitter when you took the smaller bite. That said, you get that entire like tingling feeling going through you. You got an 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. After like 3 minutes, you completely throw up. You're not poisoned, but it doesn't. You're not able to hold this down. It's very probable that whatever this stuff is, um, even though obviously it's some kind of fruit that can be consumed, maybe it's not for people. You don't know. But I mean, maybe you're allergic to it too, Wish. You're not sure. But,
No one walk over in that direction over there. That water over there is bad. I would avoid that.
Yeah.
I but wish he hadn't done that, huh?
yeah. The homunculum, by the way, as they're going through, it's almost like they're guarding the area, but not actually. And it's and at this point, it's like they just accept you being there. They do this weird thing too, where they're doing exactly like it's actually a 1-to-1. So they will kind of look at you, and then they'll look back. They won't say anything. They'll kind of just walk over in kind of an automated direction. Some of them do 100% have weapons. Like that's a bladed weapon in its hand. You don't know what's going on with this. Do you guys want to head direction towards the beacon, or do you want to just do something else or explore this area? What would you like to do?
Arthur will continue to pull out his book.
I vote going towards the beacon and away from the vomit over there.
Now, now you can clearly see off in the distance one of those shrimp, whatever it is awake and moving around. Do you want to stay clear of it?
You want to go back to that glowing rock we found?
You could do that too.
Yeah,
Okay.
my tummy hurts.
There's the mellowite behind you too, obviously.
Scarlet is gonna notice Hector playing with his book, and she's gonna pull out hers and kind of like show it to him and be like, "Oh, look, I have one of those too."
Scarlet.
Oh, sweet! I found mine on a dead guy.
They look identical. They look. It's a gilded book with metallic embellishments all over it. It looks expensive.
Did you get yours from the sewer too?
No, I found mine under my pillow one night.
That's a weird place to find a book unless you like reading at night.
Sometimes I do.
You know, it's really bad for your eyes to try to read in the dark, though.
I see really well in the dark.
Oh, it must be nice.
Sometimes. Other times you see things you wish you hadn't.
I had that happen a lot. As he starts to dry heave.
Yeah. As you get to this area as well. Did you eat more of the fruit, or did you just eat the little piece?
No, he's just like after the vomit started, it's just he's
Yeah.
trying to fight off
Yeah,
the chain reaction.
Gotcha. Yeah, and as you get to this point, guys, as you're going through it, there's a structure over on this side. There's a very strange stone structure. No one has ever seen. Even someone familiar with this area, right in front of you. And then there's still the beacon off in the distance. Do you guys want to investigate this area or continue going to the beacon?
Do we see the light that is?
Oh, you
Usually.
do. Yes, you absolutely do. There's an arc of light, a natural magical light going in this direction.
Yeah,
I mean, we gotta
Also-
check that out, right?
I think so.
I'm hanging back and prestidigitationing out my mouth. So
One of the ghost glooms is also off in the distance. All of you that have been to college know what a ghost gloom is. A ghost gloom is this thing here. I'm just going to go up to it. We'll go. A ghost gloom is essentially a magical light that is always lit, that has no heat whatsoever. And the neat thing about this light is that any kind of wild animal that gets close to it, like a bear or something that would attack you, its eyes will glow a very, very, very bright purple. This is also a very expensive perk of being like you could never, outside of Arixia, these things are not set up, because what they are is they're a very, very crazy ritual from a device that's basically built inside that little structure that lights that blue flame. It's also insanely expensive. Of course, here they have them all over. It's a safety thing for wild animals and other things that can go through. Plus, they can't the fire can't ever burn anyone either, and it's always on no matter what. Even if there was a hurricane through here, that it would still be lit. Now, you've never ever seen anything like this though. You have no idea what this thing is. Also, as you were investigating, it seems like it's one of those strange things that you've seen before, but it's got a light that's arcing off into the distance.
Seeing if we were close enough to see the work that it looked like there was writing on that big thing, Clip would be
Wouldn't
very
that-
interested in that.
Yeah, you wouldn't actually have been able to see the glowing writing from this stance, but you can go over and look at. Yeah, I mean, you guys can go and investigate and look.
While we're walking,
Yeah, as you walk over to this area, you'll be able to see it, Clip.
while we're walking, Six is gonna ask Wish, why do they call you Wish?
Because I give people what they want.
I mean, what do people usually want from you?
Entertainment, compliments, sex.
This is what you end up seeing, by the way, Clip.
Is it any language I would recognize?
Not right off the bat. Do you want to get close and try to investigate it?
I would like to, yes.
Okay. All right. So it is glowing writing, the likes of which you have never seen. Give me an investigation check to try to decipher what the hell this is.
Total of a 20.
All right. So you get really close to it. You start studying it. The actual runes themselves or the markings are slowly but surely moving left to right. And as you start to do this, give me an intelligence saving throw.
Does this count as a magical effect? Because I would have
is.
advantage.
It is a magical effect. Yeah. You guys noticed this. So 20. Awesome. Okay. So so you notice that this light is starting to like surround him in some strange, like almost like circular cloud as he starts to read this. And as that happens, it does like envelop you, but then there's some clarity and you start to actually go through and these start to make sense very briefly. And then the only thing that you can read through this, like through everything that makes sense, and it says it over and over again, beware, 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 beware. And it says it over and over and over and over again as if it's some kind of warning. But nothing happens to you.
But then turn around and be like, this just says
All of you see,
aware
all
a
of you see
bunch.
this. All of you see this, yeah.
I don't know. Just says beware. It doesn't seem that way.
I'm sure we'll understand what we're wearing soon enough. That's how it normally works with these things, right? Yeah, that's the point, to be cryptic, I think. To be cryptic. Do you feel like you're...
I mean, it is straight. Like, all of you thinking about this, like, it doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. Plus, it's a stone structure on top of it that looks like it was like carved meticulously well. None of you have ever seen this within the Mystic Valorium or even the town. It also has the same kind of glow that potentially these things have. That potentially the, I mean, it's the same color as the tree. That said, you're really just not sure though. All of this is very confusing.
Maybe it's telling something to beware of us, and we just triggered a trap.
It's certainly possible. And as you look out into this area too, you get a better. I mean, there are some structures. Again, it's These are probably 50, 60 feet in the air. There's some kind of tower that looks like it's completely intact, but it doesn't look like you could even access it from where you are. That said, looking around you, there are several structures, even a castle off into the distance, that look like it survived the earthquake. Looks like everything within this basin here, though, got completely decimated. What would you guys like to do?
Scarlet wants to go over and investigate the weird light arc, the golden one that's behind us.
Yeah, go for it.
To the left. Yep, there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
That is a 13.
All right. So you start to follow the arc. The arc goes here and disappears, as if it's pointing off into this area here. That said, when you start to look around this area, it doesn't look like there's anything necessarily that that is of interest. Strange, to say the least. These buildings are, by the way, slightly melancholy. Every time you walk by one, because you're sure at some point there were certainly people in these, and if they are, they're either dead, starving to death, or they're already deceased, whatever. So it's always kind of like freaky walking around these, just because they are kind of like tombs. Like, for instance, this is a door that you could never open because it's essentially already like molded into the ground. The only way to get into here you'd have to like be able to cut through the rock or something. And even then you're not sure. So
So that light just seems to point at nothing. Is that what we've gathered?
for now, it seems that
to be
way.
that way.
Now, has anything changed about the book as I'm thumbing through it?
Nothing. Nothing. It doesn't even have a map of this area for you, unfortunately.
Well, why do you ask, Six?
Well, you asked about my name.
Makes sense.
It's already night again as well. It has not been 24 hours. The fireflies are out though. It's quite beautiful actually, but it's now certainly night again. Not exactly, but it's been hours. I mean, it's just maybe 3 hours. You're not sure. None of this is really making a lot of sense.
Well, if no one has any other ideas for looking at that one light, I support continuing in the direction of the beacon.
Yeah, I agree.
On a mission from God.
Okay.
Maybe we'll run into Tiamat.
I don't think we want to see dragons, which they sound like they would eat us.
Yeah.
I still say they don't exist.
Maybe they'll eat the giant shrimps and crabs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've only ever heard that they like hoard gold and kill people.
I just heard they're in like bedtime stories.
They breathe fire.
I don't know. I don't think all dragons are bad. They can't be, right?
Oh, hey, what's this weird shiny thing? Oh, more rocks.
Yes. So no, but there is something weird as you noticed walking in this direction. Perception checks.
18.
Alright, Scarlet will do you first. Alright, Scarlet, so this is what you see. Okay, so Scarlet, your blood runs cold as you see this figure on some kind of glowing, undead abomination of a horse. This thing is over here as well. You see this too, Wish. The only other thing that you would notice is that it does have some kind of like headband. But other than that, I mean, this thing is horrifying.
Upon seeing that, Scarlet will like give out a squeak of fear and hide behind Wish.
Holy shit. That thing's fucking awesome looking.
Out of game, by the way, guys, this will get a lot harder when we can get it back into you controlling it. I'm being very, very generous and nice since I'm the one controlling it. But because I don't want to walk you into an ambush that will literally TPK you. But remember, it's going to be so much harder, Amanda, when you're controlling it. But anyway, keep going.
Right.
Yep.
Maybe we should be a little quiet. That thing looks absolutely terrifying.
All right, so you guys start to like, you keep your distance, but you go off into a safe distance in the area here. You see that there's only one for now, but whatever that is, yeah, that was not natural. And let's see. So there's another one. You've now noticed on this direction here. This is a little dangerous, this area. But that said, you're being careful and quiet. Unfortunately, though, as you get into the trees, you kind of like panic quickly as you lose the beacon. So you come back out here to try to like get your bearings, to try to figure out where this thing is. And sure enough, it's in that general area there. So someone give me a strategy on how you'd like to kind of get through this area. Do you want to head right at the beacon, or do you want to try to go on the edges? Like, how do you want to do this? It will matter, like how you guys decide strategically to get through this place.
Does any of us have a compass?
By the way, it is after 10:30 because it took so incredibly long on giving us some extra time. Does anybody have a stopping point that we need to hit? I was going to go till 11, but if anybody needs to stop before that, let me know.
11 works for me.
I can probably continue for like another 20-ish minutes.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay. All right. So what's your strategy to get through this?
Do we have any idea how far away the beacon is?
No, you don't. It's too far. It's too hard to assess. It's far. It's hundreds of feet away, maybe hundreds of yards away at least.
There aren't any moss on these trees.
Moss? Yes. If you were to like get closer to the trees, there's definitely moss that you could grab. The other thing that also, by the way, is as it's now getting to be a little bit more daylight, there's also these weird things off in the distance, these balloons.
Well, I wasn't going to grab the moss as much as I was going to like use it to kind of identify cardinal directions.
Okay,
Isn't that a
you
myth?
mean kind of like how would you do that, I guess? What's the idea? Like how does moss, I guess, give you cardinal direction?
Well, moss only grows on the north side of the tree. I was wondering if I could estimate which direction the beacon would be from where we are.
Oh yeah, you could. Got you. So if the moss, so if that's the case, the moss is growing on this side, and yeah, you can estimate that it's like some kind of like maybe southeastern like direction in total.
Alright, so I would point that out to the rest of the group.
Wish, do you think we could use prestidigitation to make a compass?
I don't think so. I don't think you can. You affect magnetic poles with prestidigitation?
No, but the nice thing is at least you have like you have an idea that even if you get far away from this beacon, you're still gonna be able to see it. So no matter what, the beacon can orient you no matter what. I mean, that's the least of the problems. The bigger issue is like how do we navigate this safely? Do we just go straight towards the light, or do we go all the way around? And also, do you guys want to ignore for now the balloon and everything? Okay, yeah. Like I said, this area is massive, so you have time for everything. But okay, so what's the idea? And by the way, there's a glowing mushroom over here on the side as well. Well, what's the idea here? Do you want to go just straight for the beacon, or do you want to take an arc around it?
I think a straight shot would be more accurate than trying to. I mean, unless anyone.
Say probably the fastest way to get there probably be to take the most stealthless state and much cover as possible.
All right, everybody, give me stealth checks then. Now that we know that enemies are around, and we'll take the lowest. Go ahead and give me stealth checks. Yep. Okay,
I will simply have 7.
that's fine. Yeah, that's
No,
fine.
Lillian, please.
All right, so
I will
it's all
pick you
right.
up.
So six is the. It doesn't matter. You guys you see that's the other thing. You don't really know how stealthily you're being unless the other group like points it out to you that you're being too loud, which of course which can happen. But for now, you guys are going like Lillian. You think you're doing a great job, but the group can certainly hear you, and you're passing another skull. You're going in this direction here. I assume you're taking things slow. Is that right? Are we taking things slow, or are we kind of rushing towards it?
I
I'd say let's
imagine we'd
take
be
it
pretty
slow.
slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Lillian's being super loud, I will offer to put him on my shoulders.
Okay, and we got a 7 right too. It's 6 and a 7, right? Who got? Yeah, and Emma, you're in heavy armor, right? Yeah, so it's tough. Yeah. So
Suck.
anyway, you do get to this area here though, and there seems to be like this is another one of those shrines. You're not sure if you saw a person in there or not. There's something in there, but then sure enough, as you get into this area here, it's as if like by magic, by the way, you are now in the area of where um of where the like basically the beacon is. Yeah. And that couldn't be the case, right? Like it was hundreds of yards off. All of a sudden you're just here. You have no idea what happened. Doesn't make any sense. You're starting to understand that this place is steeped in heavy magic, obviously, because that made no sense to anyone. Like this is very, very confusing to all of you. But you are now close to the beacon. Do you want to walk over into it?
I believe that's
Yes.
the idea.
All right. So this is what you see. So sure enough, there's a beacon here. There's a bunch of mellowite, and there's a person. Do you want to go up to the person, or in perception checks? What would you like?
I'd love a perception check.
Yeah, just to see if they look like they're insane and want to kill us.
To 24.
Oh, that's also a 24.
All right. Oh, weird. Hold on. There we go. Okay. This is what you see. Now, this is a human face, but there is a human-esque face, but there's something off about this. So 6, you're the one that's looking at this now, right? You've never seen anything like this. There is something weird about this person. They're not exactly human. Um, uh, let's see. Scarlet, you also got, what did you get?
Scarlet also got a 24. She rolled a nat 20.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Scarlet, let's think. Give me so actually no, Scarlet, you would know this. Okay, so there is a fabled race of nobility that is called the Lucine, and they are weird looking humanoid people. they're actually like famous for being like hunched over. Um, almost like one of the telltale signs is that they have very large but also like narrow eyes that are larger than people's. They're almost always blonde-haired, blue-eyed, with very pale skin, and they have a weird like hunched expression. Now, this is a very, very, very rare race of people. Um, the rumor that you would know through this, and this is how you're like recounting it back, you think this is one of the Lucene. The reason why you think that as well is because there's a rumor that this was uh, the original like founding race of Arixia that was almost all but wiped out. Like this is the original nobility. So this race of people used to rule over humans, elves, other people, and they were like driven to extinction. The rumor is that they also had uh really really arcane ties to magic. There was something just like the Erudites, there was something like magical about their blood and other things. There is a reason why they're hunched over too. They're you don't exactly know the details behind that. But anyway, this is like one of the original members of the actual royal family of Arixia before they were like for whatever reason like kind of like wiped out or whatever. The rumor is that there's still like a pocket of the original race of these people that actually are part of the Mist of Valorium and actually hold sway over things, and they actually still are very very. Can you guys not hear me?
No, I can still hear you.
We can hear
I
you.
can still hear you.
Awesome. Essentially, there's a rumor that these people are still ruling things in secret. But if that were to ever get out, that they're afraid that the humans and elves or whatever would try to kill them again or wipe them out, so that they're always hidden. You've never really seen one of these like out in the open like these Lucine. Anyway, certainly, so it certainly looks like that's what she is.
So yeah, I relay all of this to the party.
She kind of looks like she's out in the middle of nowhere. Do you think she needs help?
We are also out in the middle of nowhere and looking for help.
And we also need help, so.
Well, didn't she say that it was gonna be with like some super magical person, the key?
It's possible.
Alright.
Well, let's head over and say hello.
She sees the group of you come in. She says, "Oh, thank God, thank God." Oh, uh, she said that beacon that was yours. And as you guys get close to it, it dissipates. By the way, it seems to go away. So
Yes and no, but we're here to help.
now you
With-
notice that if she were to stand straight up, tall, like stand all the way tall, she must be like 7 feet tall. But for now, she's probably closer to like 5'10" because she's hunched over. Yeah.
Thank which god?
She says, she says, honestly, I don't even know anymore. She says, so, she says, you're from the college? She said, oh God. She said, are you from the college?
Yes.
She said, which schools? And her large eyes kind of narrow at all of you. You guys can just go through your specific. So when she says which schools, so each of the classes kind of have their own like for instance, sorcerers would have a very distinct ward of the Mist of Valorium. Same thing with like paladins, for example, and like other things. So you would know that that's what she means. She's asking which schools you guys are a part of.
Say mine.
Wizards. Yeah.
Bards.
Bards,
Years
yeah.
ago.
And then Clip would be like, I'm in the wizard class with Lillian.
And Scarlet will proudly say that she's in the sorcerer class.
Okay. Well, she says, but no necromancers, right?
Now, I prefer conjuring stuff, and then I would like to conjure a small stool and sit down.
I prefer music.
She said, so, but be honest. Who lit the beacon?
That was a nice lady who we met over by a tree.
She said, "Well, it's no matter. I'm trying to find a way back into the Mist of Valorium. I'm sure all of you want back in as well, but it's very, very, very important that I get back in myself." She said, would you be able to help me? Unfortunately, I'm incredibly fragile." And she kind of points to her very like lithe, like spindly body. She says, I can't actually make it through, especially considering that there's those damn students barring the way." But she says, but maybe you could help me. I know where one of the keys are that we can get access to. Unfortunately, it's actually inside the Mist of Valorium. Normally this would be impossible, but I know a secret entrance through one of the caves. Uh, there is a complication, though.
And that complication is.
Damned cult of Zur. They're guarding the entrance. As a matter of fact, it's the damned cult that actually expelled everyone from the Mist of Valorium to begin with. I don't exactly know much about them. I think they're behind this. I think they're the whole reason why things went to hell.
Is the Cult of Zur something we might have heard of at some point?
So the cult of Zur is something that all of you had heard, like starting like a year ago. There was this idea that there was a secret organization. It wasn't called the cult of Zur. It was there was a secret organization called Zur, but you had to be invited inside, and most of you thought that it would probably was bullshit, because what ended up happening was that students would say that they would join Zur, but they would also make a point to say that you were not allowed in, or essentially it was like a status thing. A lot of you probably would have thought that this was just nonsense, because v- usually when someone said they were part of the cult of Zur, or I'm sorry, they didn't say they were part of the cult, they were part of this secret organization called Zur, they would not only make a point to tell you, but it was usually students that weren't very good at doing what they weren't very good wizards or whatever, and it was kind of like it kind of became a running joke that this was like some kind of thing where like lesser students would basically they basically made up a secret society to feel better about themselves. That's what most of you believe. It's overwhelmingly like it got so like it got so well known that it was like the losers of the collegiate that were part of Zur, that it was assumed that they were like that it was some made up thing for the students that didn't make it or weren't cutting it to feel better about themselves. But she is saying cult of Zur, so you've definitely heard of Zur. You've never heard it called a cult before, though.
Aren't those, if those are just like the reject lamo students, we should. That doesn't seem like a big problem.
She said, yeah. She said, so. She said, I'm not sure exactly how familiar you are with the cult of Zur, but that was how they ended up operating. She said, I, I I still don't know all of it. As a matter of fact, Valeria, um, she said, there's so much to get into, but so she said one of the faculty, you might have heard of her, Valeria. She teaches high wizardry, and both of you know exactly who she's talking about, by the way. So Valeria, both of the wizards. So Valeria is literally the highest faculty member in the wizard school. As a matter of fact, so Valeria is one of the most powerful wizards within Arixia. She's famous. Um, she is definitely on the actual council that actually not only makes up the laws of the Mystivalorium, but like it's also like like rumored that like she knows magic that like no one else does. And she's also, and that's the other thing to keep in mind. These teachers become so incredibly powerful that they're almost scary. Like the top level teachers don't necessarily even teach anymore. They're busy like studying magic and doing other things. Occasionally though, they come in and they're like rock stars. Like anytime that you would meet these people, all the students would be around them, like trying to talk to them, maybe gain their favor, whatever. So all the high level faculty like that are like famous. But anyway, so Valeria is the wizard, is the wizard version of that. And she said, so Valeria uncovered that the cult of Zur was using reject students to basically mask the fact that it was indeed an actual cult that was basically having students renounce Mistra. Um, I, all that I know for sure from Valeria herself, who, by the way, uh, safely put me here with protections. And she, by the way, she points to the stone, and now that you're close enough to it, you can see it. There is some kind of strange interlacing ward around this entire area. She said that's the only reason I'm alive. She said I was placed here. She was supposed to come get me, and we were supposed to leave, but I haven't seen her. However, I could definitely get us back. That's why I'm trying to get back to the Mystivalorium. We need to find Valeria. She said that said, the only way to get into the Mystivalorium is to get inside the college. The keys are all in the college. They did it perfectly. There is no way in otherwise. But I do know a way through a cave system to actually get up into the Mystivalorium underneath the wards. And where this leads directly to one of the keys. You are going to have to go through the Cult of Zur, though. And yes, they will probably try to kill you. And yes, they are. And she actually points to you, Clip. She said, I assume you've seen the battle wizards. You know, the ones with the very, 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 very ominous stone faces.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're hard to miss when you see them.
Yeah, she said they're all going to be wearing them. She said so they can't be dazed, they can't be stunned, they can't be blinded. She said that they're out for blood. So just be careful.
Well, that is worrying. But we might we have a way into the college, just like that.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, I can actually point out the way. She said, I don't want to get too far away. She said, I don't want to get too far away from my wards, but she says that I will show you the direction of the cave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else we
Okay.
should talk to her about? Do you know anything about the various creatures that are about out here? The giant crabs and whatnot?
I just know that after all of that blue mist and the haze and everything else, that monsters started roaming this area. He said normally I would actually tell you that it would be very, very important to also not relay my existence to anyone else, but honestly, at this point, that seems silly. It seems like everything's changed already.
A Chris time check.
Yeah, we're done. We're finishing up.
You have a name?
He said my name is Helen.
Do I believe her?
Well, you're not exactly sure why she would lie about that. You can insight check her.
Yeah, sure. Helen it is, with a 7.
Yeah. It seems like and with a 14, it seems like she's telling the truth. All right, guys. Well, we can end it there, and we'll start right when we right where we took off this time. I'll make sure that all our technical stuff is much better next time. And then Amanda, I'll see what I can do to get you to control it next time too. So. All right, great guys. All right, thanks.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Cool.
I do apologize. I know it kind of went off rough tonight, but like I said, it'll get better. So
Yeah, no worries. Sorry for being a bit distracted this time. There's just a lot of things going on, but should be more fine next week.
yeah, no worries.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Good night.
Have a good
Yep.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Yep. Have a
Good
good night. Thanks.